we have some music? Can we have Mastermind? Something to set to sing.
Sing.
I could sing, yes, but no. Can I just say, this is unscripted, but every Monday evening, 7:30, at the home of Nick and Pam, we have a prayer meeting. We've been praying for weeks for our lovely friends here. So I'm going to say thank you that they're here. But equally, I feel that if you have something in your life that you feel that needs prayer, write it on a piece of paper, give it to Nick, give it to Pam, give it to Jill, or Greg, or myself. We will be praying on Monday for you. You may have heartache, you may have sorrow, you may have a problem at work. Put it down, let's pray. Or come along and join us. Okay. I'm saying I've written a long list of things that I'm going to ask, but it's not quite true. But I have a list here that I'm going to run through, and you'll listen quite intently to the questions because they're quite challenging. So here we go. Welcome, and thank you for asking me to interview you. Why have you decided to stand up or sit down?
It'll be a while.
In front of here today, and let us ask you questions when you could have just come back to work and just got on with the things and sat at the back that you wouldn't know. Oh, why?
Okay, two main things that Gil and we want to say, in answer to that question. First of all, is thank you. And for those of you who think, I don't know what's going on, as we become clear, we've been away for 4 months for a kind of specific reason. But first of all, I'll say thank you. Thank you for all of the cards that you sent to us. Thank you for all of the prayers. Thank you for all of the text messages. Thank you for all of the hugs in the streets. All of those things over the last 4 years. Those cards have gone into 4 months. 4 months. 4 months. All of those cards have gone into a box of encouragement that we keep, and some of them especially I will treasure, and we will treasure throughout our ministry. Some of the words were just wonderful and came at some of the really dark times, the really dark moments, and were like kind of glimmers of hope for us. So thank you very, very much indeed. And secondly, we want to do this because when, as the people of God, we're at our best, we're real. And one of the things that I sometimes struggle with in church life is that we can be, sometimes in a sense rightly, because we don't want to kind of share everything with everybody, but we can sometimes be a little bit fake. And someone said to you, "Are you okay?" You go, "Yeah, I'm absolutely fine." And inside, in a sense, you're falling apart. And also being in the community that we're in, we're a wonderful, close-knit community. But one of the negatives of that is that gossip can travel incredibly quickly. And so we wanted to kind of avoid any of that. You know, the rumours going around that I've kind of become a Roman Catholic and all of that kind of stuff aren't true. I've actually become a Jedi. So we wanted to, that's not true, I wish I'd become a Jedi. We wanted to kind of crush any of that, and also just clearly kind of share with you as honestly and as vulnerably as we can just what's happened over the last 4 months. And yeah, and we'll go from there, really.
Excellent. So, second question. Tell us what's been going on with you over the last 4 months.
Okay, so we have to go back to the first weekend of July, the 1st of July. And to not put too fine a point on it, I had a breakdown. Now, this is a breakdown that, you know, looking back, has probably been building slowly for the last kind of 5 years or maybe even longer. And it was probably in those few weeks kind of leading up that things kind of begun to get kind of very intense. I was waking up 2-3 o'clock in the morning, pulse rate going at 100 miles an hour, not being able to get back to sleep, mind just whirring away all over the place. For those of you who know me well, I'm very much an extrovert, love spending time with people, and I found myself retreating and not wanting to spend time with people. Things that say were just getting on top of me. I found my compassion level for people was kind of disappearing. People coming to me with issues and problems. I was like, oh, Charles, just not in the place, I just can't deal with it. One of the strange things, again, kind of looking back, was a few weeks before that was my birthday party, and about 10 days before the birthday party, I said to Emma, I don't want it anymore, I want to cancel it, which was again weird. There then came a moment, again about 2 weeks before my actual breakdown, when Emma was out and I was just in the kitchen with our 3 children, and one of them did something very minor, and I absolutely lost it. Totally lost it. Shouted at them, yelled at them, screamed at them. All 3 of them burst into tears, and I sent Emma a text message shortly after that. I said, I don't know what's just happened, something's wrong. And then the day before kind of my breakdown, I said to Emma on the Saturday morning, I said to him something I'd not said for quite a long time. I really felt for quite a long time. In fact, my mum had died 15 years ago, and I just said, I just need my mum. I just need my mum. And then on the Sunday morning, came in, I did the first service, 9:30 service, and Emma said to me, look, you need to go and speak to the church wardens. After the service, I got Greg and Dizzy together. I need to say, folks, you have 2 incredible church wardens. He took me into the back room. I just basically said I'm not coping, at which point I dissolved into tears. And they said they were wonderful, and I said, right, 3 things. First, you go and see your GP first thing tomorrow morning. You contact the Archdeacon and you contact the Bishop this afternoon. Pastoral care I have received from these guys and from the Archdeacon and Bishop has been incredible. I sent an email off that afternoon to both of them. By 9:30 the following morning, I'd had emails and phone calls back from both of them, and the Archdeacon was with me by 3:30 in the afternoon. Gave me the most incredible 45-minute pastoral chat I've ever been in, said, you're a great church leader, we love what you're doing, we're backing you, keep going. What you're going through is nothing out of the ordinary, don't worry about it. Gave me 2 Bible verses. He said, Psalm 23 says that God makes us lie down in green pastures. He said, God is making you lie down, you need to rest and stop. Quoted Psalm 91, where it says about the plague that strikes at midday, and he said, in the middle of ministry you've been struck down, but God's in it, do not worry. And then he said, then he talked about how he saw my future, and then he said, now I want your diary, and I don't want to see you again until September, goodbye. And basically at that point I came out just in a really bad place. I was like, wow, that was just extraordinary. And yeah, and so we've been cared for those last few months, so that's why I've not been around.
That's lovely. Thank you for sharing that. We understand fully. Emma, how has the last 4 months affected you?
I guess it's been tricky in many ways. I guess because of Tim's job, obviously we live and breathe. You know, if I was not at work through sickness, then I would just not go to work, whereas we live very kind of, you know, in the community and very close. So, and also I'm obviously very involved in church, doing the kids' work and everything else. So I was still coming, but also knowing that my husband wasn't coming and wasn't leading. So I guess it was the kind of I guess it felt like I was at capacity in terms of supporting Tim, being a busy working mum as well, being still involved in the church, and obviously everyone also asking me all the time how Tim was, which is absolutely fine because that's normal. But yeah, so I guess it's been hard on all of us, but also God's kind of been gracious and kept us going through it all as well. We do feel, you know, that we've been held by God through it all.
Can I just ask, how are the children?
So we've kind of tried to keep it a little bit from the boys because, obviously Amy has no idea, because we didn't feel that they needed to know. They just, they know that Daddy's been at home more, which they've quite enjoyed, and we've basically just said to them that Daddy's having a bit of a rest from the church at the moment, and kind of kept it simple in simple terms like that.
Excellent, thanks. Tim, the last 4 months have obviously been difficult for both of you. Where do you feel God's been in all of this?
Okay, just before I answer that question, I just want to say that this lady has been my absolute rock through this time. She's been phenomenal, put up with, you know, moods and just me kind of sitting around not wanting to do anything. She's just kind of got on with the kids and has just loved me through it. So she's been utterly fantastic and has taken all of that, and obviously that's had a, you know, effect on her as well. You know, she is on a process of restoration as well as me. She's been utterly fantastic. Where has God been in all of it? Do you know, I'm going to be, again, this is what I'm going to be really honest with you. Has my faith been shaken? Absolutely. Have I doubted God in this time? Absolutely. Have at times I've felt just that God had abandoned me? Yes. But it's amazing now to sit here this morning with you all and be able to look back over these last 4 months. Because what I can say now is, and what I've just realised in new and deeper ways, that God has never left us at any moment. In Deuteronomy, it says, where God says, I will never leave you, I will never forsake you. There's an emphasis on that word never. It's absolutely true. Jesus said in Matthew 28 verse 20, and surely I will be with you always to the very end of the age. Again, with the emphasis on that word always. The psalmist talks about the fact that God hems us in before, as in front of us, and behind. What I can say now, looking back, is that God has basically hemmed us in behind. I mean, so many times we're kind of like out the front of life, it's like, God, where are you? I can't sense you in here. I can't see you at work out here. You know, and I'm going to be, again, really honest, I have not wanted to pray for the majority of these 4 months. I have not wanted to read my Bible for the vast majority of these 4 months. I have not wanted to worship. It's almost as if spiritually I've shut down. I'm taking an anti-anxiety medication now called sertraline, which I'll be on probably for the next 18 months or so. One of the things that does, so it's actually had a physiological effect on me as well. One of the things it does, it numbs certain areas of your life. The area of my life that it seemed to have numbed was spiritually. I felt spiritually numb for 4 months, which was quite a bizarre thing to think and to feel. But now, as that's beginning to wear off a bit, I can just see where God's been holding us, with us. With what Rebecca shared a few minutes ago, I just want to say that this is an extraordinary family. That are, you know, absolutely wonderful people. Being with them on Wednesday was just one of the most bittersweet moments of life. It was just extraordinary. And, you know, it was, what happened was a miracle for that family. Do you know what? It was part of my recovery as well. I want to say, when I prayed for Eileen, one of the most extraordinary things to me is I didn't pray for any kind of miracle at all. I prayed for God to take her and to be at peace. And suddenly these things started happening, and she woke. I mean, it was miraculous. And suddenly it was as if God, it was something for me. It's like, yeah, I'm here. I'm still working. I'm the God of miracles. I'm the God who does stuff. But folks, I've been on a huge place of doubt in my faith. But He's been with us kind of every step of the way. Do you have anything to that? Okay.
All I would say is we all believe in the power of prayer. It's easy to say it, but we do. It may be that there are people here today who are going through similar difficulties, either with mental health issues or struggles with their faith. What would you want to say to them this morning?
Do you want to answer?
I think I'd want to say the first thing is don't go it alone. Don't do it on your own. You don't need to. And I think when you reach out to someone, it might be us or it might be someone else here, someone who's got faith. Reach out to them. It takes courage because we know that, you know, talking about mental health stuff is not necessarily easy. It's kind of quite a taboo subject. Hopefully it'll get less so. But reach out to someone, talk to someone, even, you know, go and see your GP. Just don't kind of face it alone, because mental health things, or, you know, whatever your grief or whatever you're going through, can be a lonely time. But actually, if you reach out to someone who can support you and encourage you, it makes a huge difference. And I think the other thing I would say is don't give up. Even if it means at times waking up in the morning, it's literally getting out of bed. Because sometimes for some people that is hard in itself, just putting one step in front of the other. Just do that. Put one step in front of another. Don't think about too far ahead. Take each step as it comes. But yeah, reach out, don't do it alone, that's what I would say.
Yeah, I think also just to add that amazing Psalm 23, David says, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, and we all go through tough times in our lives. There's that old saying that says, when you're going through hell, keep going. And God promises to take us through. Even if in this life, actually, we don't come through. Again, you know, Rebecca's testimony about Island, there is an eternal party waiting for all of us. But yeah, keep going and keep doing it with friends. Keep talking to close friends around you.
So having said all that, and you've almost answered this next question that I'm going to ask you, but how are you doing now? Is there anything you want to say about that?
Yeah, I'm doing so much better than I was. It was a day, I think about 2 weeks ago now. It was a Thursday, I don't know why it was a Thursday, but I got to the end of that Thursday and I was like, oh my goodness, I feel kind of well again. What it made me realise was how ill I'd been. Because I realised for so long I'd been bottling stuff up, and it caused me to get mentally ill in that way and to have a breakdown. And so yeah, I'm definitely getting there. I'm not 100% yet. I won't be back at work full time until January. We take it easy. This man's on my case very regularly about that. So is the Archdeacon and the Bishop and everyone. So I will be taking things very gently. But yeah, I'm doing so much better.
And that's so good that you know that. Yeah. What do you see as the future vision for the church? This is an hard one in your present situation, but what do you see?
It's actually sent in by somebody. If you've got a notice sheet, you'll see on the front of the notice sheet, it says St Mary Magdalene Church, growing the kingdom of God through faith, hope and love. That is what I'm more passionate about now in my recovery than I was 4 months ago. It's what we are passionate about seeing. You know, what does God over and over again tell us to do? He tells us to go, to not stay in holy huddles, but to reach out into our community. The first reading that we had at the 9:30 service is from the book of Revelation, where John sees this vision of Jesus and says, he's coming, look, he's coming. We just sung those words from John 3:16. That's it, for God so loved the world, he gave his only son, that whoever should believe in him will not perish but have eternal life. Knowing Jesus is everything. Eileen woke up and it was extraordinary and just said to her family, said to her children, this is what it's about, faith in Jesus Christ. And they were kind of like, no, it's been good to people. And she went, no, it's not. It's about faith in Jesus Christ. That's what it is. That's our message. And I want us to be more and more. I was appointed here as a pioneer minister, and probably some of the things the trouble I've got myself into is I haven't been doing enough of that, and making sure we're getting out into our community with a message that you can believe in Jesus, that he believes in you, that there is hope in the darkness, that we love you, we love everybody. We're all broken people, fragile, but together we try, and with the power of God in our lives, miracles, extraordinary things happen. I would love everybody in Littleton, obviously I want them to come to know Jesus, but I want everybody in Littleton in a moment of crisis to think, where am I going to get help, and to think of us first. That's my vision. It's a long-term plan, it's a long-term goal, but that's where I want to get to. And if we can be more concerned about who's out there than who's in here, then we're getting somewhere.
That's brilliant, thank you. So my final question. How can we as a church family best support you as you move forward?
A lot of you are doing it already, to be honest, so thank you for that. I guess the biggest thing is just pray. Pray for us. As Tim said, we're still, both of us, recovering. It's been hard, I'd probably say longer than 4 months, because obviously it was coming for quite a long time before that. And there's still some healing and restoration that needs to be done. So pray for us, and probably, you know, a lot of you are really involved anyway with stuff, and I know everyone's busy, but just get involved, get on board with the vision. We can't do this alone, we can't, you know, this vision, he's not just given to us, hopefully, he's given to all of us as a church family. And actually, when we all come together, then it works. If Tim and I are doing it alone, we'll burn out again and we won't survive. So get on board with the vision, come and get involved, ask us, you know, don't just, I'm probably going off script here, but don't just kind of do something because no one else is doing it. Ask God what he wants you to do. What are the gifts he's given you? What are the things he's put on your heart? What are the things that get you excited? What are the kind of stuff that you get you out of bed in the morning? So don't just do stuff to kind of tick a box, because that then you just lose enthusiasm for it. Ask God what he's asking you to do. Find out what's on his heart, what gets you excited, and then come and talk to us about it. Come and say, actually, I've thought about this idea, or I can see a gap here, or maybe this isn't being done very well, do it. I think what part of the reason we've kind of got to this point is because we maybe haven't been very good at delegating stuff, and we've tried to do it all, and so we've burnt out, probably both of us to an extent. So, you know, ask God what he wants you to be doing, ask God how he wants you to be involved. It may be that he gives you new ideas, or it may be that there's stuff going on that you want to get involved with, but you haven't quite had the courage to do it because you may be doubting your own abilities. So just come and get involved. Come and talk to us. We are desperate for people to get involved with stuff. That's what I'd say.
Brilliant. And can I add something very quickly to that? Greg said at the beginning of the service that God's got a sense of... Actually, it wasn't Greg, it was Ian at the earlier service, talked about the fact that God's got a sense of humour. I felt at the beginning of the year, God say to me that more people need to get involved in the life of the church. It was something I really needed to work on in 2018. What I didn't realise was by July, he's like, well, you ain't going to do it, I'm going to get you out of the way. And so many more people, and thank you for everyone who's got involved, especially on Sundays and in other ways. But yeah, and I think the other thing I would just add as well is trust us. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to ask us over the months and years ahead to step out of faith in various ways. And there might be wrong ideas, there might be stupid ideas, we might fall flat on our face, but just go with us because it will be a fun journey and the mistakes are part of it.
Can I just say, round of applause, thank you. Yeah, good friends. I've suffered for them. My heart's suffered for them. But they're here. Delegate. That is the key word. When you're up the top, we look to you, but delegate, and you've got a lot of willing people. The thing that hit me this week was, maybe last week, when Moses went to see Pharaoh for the first time, he was 80 years of age. There's hope for all of us. Don't sit there and just think, I'm too old. There's something for all of us to do. Jill, come and pray.
Father God, we just want to pray for this lovely couple. We thank you, Father, that you brought them to this church. You've given them gifts, Father, that they've got feet of clay just like the rest of us. We thank you, Lord, for their honesty today. We thank you, Father God, that you're in all of this, that you're bringing healing to Tim and to Emma. And we pray, Lord, that your healing would continue throughout this church, Father, because we all need a touch of that. Father, would you help us to help them, to help you, Lord, in all that you want to do in this place. Father, it doesn't matter how mad or how daft, Lord, or how silly we think things are, as long as it reaches people. As long, Lord, as it's you reaching people, through all of us, Father, we're all in it together. We're a family, no matter what age we are, or sex. Lord, thank you for what you're doing in this couple. Thank you for what you've done. Thank you for what you are going to do in the future. Father, help us all to catch the vision. Help us to win souls for you. It's not about this building, Lord. It isn't about this place. It's about people. And you love them. You love them so much to go to the cross for them. So Father, give us all that sense of vision, Lord, and continue your work in Emma and Tim. Father, help us to just be open to you, not to close down, Lord, not to come with our own agendas or motives, Father, that can be so wrong when it's all wrapped up in our own opinions, but to seek you, Father, in every way. And Lord, we ask for your blessing on Tim and Emma, and on the children, Father. We ask that you make us a close family in this place, really close, looking past all the idiosyncrasies that we all have, Lord, and just seeing Jesus in one another. But Father, we thank and praise you for this couple, for what you're going to do. We thank and praise you for their honesty and their openness today. And we just bless you, Father, in the name above all names, in the name of Jesus.